Hello, People Stack people, and welcome to Stress Week. We're talking about stress. We keep it real here at the People Stack podcast. We're talking about stress, overwhelm, burnout. In the last episode, I talked about what they are, how they might be showing up in your life, and I started to explain how it might be affecting other areas of your life, including your career and your relationships with other people, your health, and really just get the help that you need to get out of it. And now I want to dive deeper into the motivation to get the help you need to get out of it. Because look, it's so easy to just brush it off, especially if it's like mild to moderate forms of stress. Like when the shit hits the fan and it's like really, really, really bad, there's no question. It's like you get help because you get help. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't want to keep feeling that way, number one, and you don't want to have it keep having all of the negative effects that it's having in your life. But a dose of prevention goes a really, really, really long way. And what I mean by that is if you're feeling mild to moderate stress or burnout or overwhelm right now, how about we nip it in the bud while it's easier to nip it in the bud rather than waiting for it to get worse and having it be way, way, way harder to get rid of. And for a lot of people, it's like, oh, well, it's not that bad and I have work to do. I got to go to a meeting. I can't get help. I don't have time to get help with this stress because I have this project I need to work on. It's really, really important. But even if you start to even just take a step back and listen to that and sound how almost silly that is, like your health is number one. Whether we're talking about your physical health, your psychological health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, it's number one. Because if you don't have that, if you're not feeling healthy, there's no way that you're going to be able to show up at work and do that project to the best of your ability. You're only making the problem worse by just saying, you know what, it's fine. I don't want to deal with it. It's not that bad. And what I've found for myself, and also working with clients as well, that the number one motivator that most of us, that the biggest motivator to change is other people. Because we don't want to be selfish. We don't want to have our pain also be inflicted on other people. I once had a conversation with my dad about this. It was a real heart to heart. And, because he experiences some pain in his life, back pain, knee pain. And, for him, it's like, you know what, I can deal with it. Like, as long as it's not affecting you guys, right? As long as it's not affecting your mother and you and your brother and, and the people that I love. And it's like, that hits you right where it needs to, because it's like, yeah, I can deal with the pain, because a lot of us, especially if you're male, because of the whole masculine thing, but even if you're female or depending on the culture that you were brought up in, we can deal with some pain. We can deal with some stress. So then the question becomes, where's that line between this is just like the regular stress that I might be feeling because I'm a leader and I can cope with it and I can fight through and it's gonna make me stronger by dealing with it. Where's the line between that and this needs to get fixed? You need help to get this fixed. And I'm going to suggest that one piece of that line, one way that you will know when you've crossed over that line, is when your pain, your stress, your overwhelm, your exhaustion is affecting other people. Because if it's affecting other people and you haven't fixed it, then that's just being selfish. And that's just like the kick in the butt that we need to say, oh, hang on. I thought this was just me. Like I can deal with it, no problem. Oh wow, I've had blinders on and I didn't even realize how much my own private experience of stress or overwhelm or burnout or exhaustion, I thought it was just, something that I'm dealing with myself, and I can do it. I'm strong. I didn't even realize, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize how much this is negatively affecting other people in my life. And so I invite you to take a look at how the stress you're experiencing is affecting other people in your life. And I guarantee you that it is. Because if you're listening right now, and if the stress is even just one iota career or work related, then I guarantee you it's affecting other people in your other people in your life. What other people? The people that you spend most of your days with. Your team, your colleagues, the people who you spend 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day with. The fact that you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, the fact that you're not showing up 100% for them, that you're not in peak decision-making mode, peak influence mode, peak get shit done mode, peak relationship building mode, which is what all leaders need to do. That's your job as a leader, is to do those 4 things. To build relationships, to get shit done, to inspire. Oh, I didn't mention the 4th thing, which is, to make decisions, think strategically. If you're not able to do those 4 things, you're not a leader. You're just pretending to be. And I'm not saying that you're not capable of doing those things, but in general, but you're definitely not capable of doing those things when you're stressed. When you haven't fixed that stress, when you haven't figured out a way to manage that stress, you're letting it bleed over and affect your team members because you're not there for them. Not in the way that your potential, you're not reaching your full potential. You're not there for them. And it's affecting their ability, like your team members' abilities to do their best job because they're not feeling supported. They're not feeling inspired. They're running around with a complete lack of clarity about what it is that they're supposed to do. They're walking around feeling like they can't trust because you're not showing up 100%. And the same thing goes for other people at work as well. But I know as a leader, the people who you care about the most is probably your team. So that's going to be the motivator. That's going to be the, oh, wow, man, I don't want to do this to my team. I don't want to keep doing it to my team. And then you take a look at outside of work. Who are the people who you spend the most time with outside of work? Your friends, your family, the people who you love the most. Of course, they're noticing your stress. And of course, they are affected by it. They can't not be. Maybe you've already talked with them about it. And they know what's going on. But a lot of people, they just build this wall between work and everything else. And look, that's fine. That can work. But don't pretend that the weight and the stress isn't like seeping through that wall. Don't pretend that as soon as you walk through the front door, like you become a different person and suddenly you're not stressed anymore. Suddenly you're not overwhelmed anymore. You're absolutely affecting them. Your wife, your husband, your kids, your partner, your best friend, your brother, your sister, they need you. And you're not there for them when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed. And that's the way that you have to look at it. You have to. Some people don't want to go there. And for some of you, you're just completely like shaking your head right now. And you're like, that's not me. What are you talking about? Ugh. And you don't even want to go there. You don't even want to admit it. But for some of you, you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I know. And this has been going on for too long. And for some of you, you're like, wow, I never really thought about it that way. But I am someone, I pride myself in taking ownership. And I don't want to be selfish. I want to make sure that I'm there for everyone and that I'm there for everyone 100%. And not to mention, bringing it back to the whole topic of this podcast, it's affecting your career. The fact that you're stressed, the fact that you are not showing up the way that you are capable of, you're not reaching your full potential, it's affecting your ability negatively to get where you want to go in your career and to earn the kind of money that you want to earn and to make the kind of impact that you want to make. So then the question becomes, how do you solve this problem? How do you get out of stress? How do you manage the stress and the burnout and the overwhelm? And really, step one is what I've already been encouraging all of you to do. Step one is to take an honest look in the mirror and really admit to yourself that you are feeling stressed, that you are on the edge of burnout, that you are feeling overwhelmed. Because look, if you don't think you have a problem, if you don't think that there's a challenge to fight, then there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to manage. So it's really getting real. That's step one, is getting real with yourself and getting some clarity about the level and depths and scope of what you're feeling and how that's affecting the rest of your life. That's really step one. So that's what I encourage all of you to do, is to take an honest look in the mirror at how are things for me really? How are things in terms of my stress levels? In terms of my, like the opposite of that, if you want the opposite, if you want to kind of put a positive light on it, it's engagement. How engaged, or you can think about it in terms of energy. Like, how much energy do I feel like I have? Positive energy on a day-to-day basis. And really just taking a look at that. Like, and being honest with yourself. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, then you're never going to get to the next level. If you cannot identify your weaknesses, if you cannot identify what's not working, there's always something that's not working in your career right now. There is always something that is not working at work right now. There is always something that's not working in your life right now. So really just get super clear about that with yourself. and make an assessment. That's where you begin. And so many people skip that and go right to, oh, well, here's some stress management strategies, and you should do yoga, and you should get a massage, and you should take naps in the middle of the day, or you should get a new job. You should quit your job. What a great way to manage your stress levels. I say that somewhat jokingly. It may be, it may not. It depends on your situation. That's why I'm giving advice that may be different than what it is that you're reading out there, because out there on the blogs and the internets, they're just giving you a bunch of Band-Aids. They're telling you to go take a walk. They're telling you to meditate. When that may not be what you need, because you haven't even assessed and really identified and gotten super clear about the level and depths and scope of stress that is going on in your life right now. So that's step one. That's what I invite all of you to do. And then once you've done that and you say, okay, really, really be 100% the most honest you've ever been with yourself. You're like, okay, I can deal with this. I got it. Then go for it. Like, go and deal with it and figure out the best way for you to keep moving forward and to keep fighting it, to keep managing the stress. The stress is always going to be there. You can't get rid of it. You can't eliminate it. The stress is always going to be there. Again, I'm not here to deliver sunshine and fairy tales. I'm here to tell the truth. The stress is always going to be there. But it's like, do I have the resources? Do I have the skills and the strategies in order to manage that stress? And if you feel like you do, then great. If you don't, then it's time to get help. And the kind of help is going to depend on what your goals are, on what your desired outcomes are, right? If your desired outcome is, oh my God, I'm feeling completely burnt out and I just can't even see straight and I'm not even sure where to go or who to talk to. And this just isn't just about my career. And honestly, it's not really about my career at all. It's about just like my life and I'm just feeling physically depleted. Then it's time to talk to a doctor or a therapist about it. If it's like related to your relationship and like that's like the number one thing that's not working for you in your life right now, and like your stress and your burnout is leaving you on the verge of divorce, separation, and is just totally destroying all of your relationships, then it's time to talk to a relationship expert, a relationship counselor, a relationship coach. And if the number one thing that this stress and burnout is affecting negatively is your career, what's happening at work, your ability to lead, then it's time to book a call with us, thepeoplestack.com/book. We're not relationship coaches. We're not life coaches. We're not therapists. We're career coaches. So if what you want is to upgrade your career as a technical manager, that's our specialty. And the reason that I've been talking about stress and overwhelm and burnout and exhaustion is because upgrading your career may be your number one goal. Then if so, you're in the right place listening to this. And you're also feeling all this other stuff. Again, like I said at the very beginning of all of this, I want to meet you where you are, and I want you to know that we see you and we hear you and we get you. And I don't talk about this enough, so I wanted to make sure that I gave a whole week sort of talking toward this topic, because it's really serious and has serious negative consequences. And I wanted to get real about it. So if you're ready to get real about upgrading your technical career and making sure that you have all of the strategies and the solutions and the support to battle and combat and manage the inevitable stress that is going to happen as you walk this path, as you go on this journey toward upgrading your career, that's what we're all about giving custom tailored strategies so that you can get where you want to go in your career and in your life. So go ahead and book a call with us today. There's no reason to delay anymore. You can book that call immediately. It's thepeoplestack.com/book. The message of the week is that stress is a silent killer. It silently kills your career, and it silently kills a lot more than that as well. And I don't want to see any of you suffering those negative consequences anymore. So get the help that you need, folks. That is it. Thank you for that. That is my offering to you. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again really, really soon. And that's a wrap.